You ever stop and think about how tens of thousands of bees can live crammed together in a hot, humid hive and not get sick? I mean, they don't have doctors, no antibiotics, yet they're just fine. Well, it turns out they have a secret weapon. It's this sticky, super powerful substance that's part fortress, part pharmacy, and part multi-tool. And today, we're going to unlock the secrets of that substance, Propolis.
All right, so here's the plan. First up, we'll look at why a beehive is basically a city under constant siege. Then we'll get into what Propolis actually is and how the bees use it as their ultimate multi-tool. After that, we'll see how we started using it, kind of like a pharmacy for us humans. And finally, we'll cover how we get this amazing stuff from the hive into our hands.
Okay, so first, let's just set the scene here. Picture a super crowded city, just packed with residents, food everywhere, and nurseries for the young. Now make it warm and humid and full of sugar. You know what that sounds like? It's basically the perfect breeding ground for all sorts of nasty stuff. Bacteria, fungi, you name it. And we're not talking about a small town here. We're talking about a colony of up to 50,000 individuals, all living right on top of each other. For this incredible superorganism, staying clean isn't just a good idea, it's literally a matter of life and death. One bad infection could completely wipe out the whole colony. The stakes are incredibly high.
So that brings us right to the big question, right? How in the world do they pull it off? How do they fend off this constant attack from microbes and keep their home totally sterile and safe? Well, the answer is this absolutely brilliant substance they make themselves.
So what exactly is this amazing material? You know, it's so effective that people often call it bee glue. But honestly, that name doesn't even begin to cover what this stuff is capable of.
To put it simply, propolis is a kind of resin. The worker bees go out and collect these sticky resins from things like tree buds and sap. Then they bring it back, chew it up, and mix it with their own saliva and some beeswax. And voila, you've got propolis.
And you can really see that transformation right here. The bees start with this raw ingredient, right? This sticky golden tree sap. And they manage to turn it into this dark, powerful, and unbelievably useful substance. I mean, they're really like nature's tiny chemists, aren't they? Now, propolis has some really unique characteristics. The taste is pretty pungent, but it has this surprisingly nice aromatic smell, especially if you warm it up. Some people even say it smells a bit like vanilla. It's sticky, of course, and here's a key detail. It dissolves in alcohol, but not in water. And that little fact is super important for how we use it later on. Okay, so we know what it is. Now let's get into how the bees actually use it. Inside that hive, propolis isn't just for one thing. It's for, well, pretty much everything. It's their building material, their weather sealant, and their entire immune system all wrapped up in one.
Seriously, these bees are master builders. They use propolis to seal up every single tiny crack, which keeps out drafts, predators, even just annoying light. They use it to make the honeycomb structure stronger and to literally glue their frames in place. And this is so important. They use it to sterilize the little cells where the queen is going to lay her eggs. It's like a deep clean before the baby arrives.
But all that structural stuff, that's really just the beginning. Its most critical job, its most important role, is to act as a powerful biochemical defense, a shield against disease and decay. And this is where the power of propolis gets absolutely wild. So imagine an intruder, like a mouse, gets into the hive, and the bees manage to kill it. Well, it's way too big for them to drag out. So what's their solution? They entomb it. They completely cover the body in propolis, which basically mummifies it and stops it from rotting and poisoning the whole hive. It's a perfect, all-natural antiseptic tomb. Incredible.
And here's the fascinating part. The very same properties that make propolis an amazing defense for the bees, well, they also make it an incredible remedy for us humans. People have known this for a long time, too. We've been borrowing from this hive pharmacy for thousands of years.
So, where does all this power come from? Well, its chemical makeup is pretty complex. More than half of it is made up of resins and balsams. That's where the real powerhouse compounds are. But it also has wax, essential oils that give it that smell, and even a little bit of pollen. And all these things work together to create its amazing effects.
Scientists have pretty much boiled its medicinal properties down to three main things. First, it's a powerful antimicrobial. That just means it kills or stops the growth of bad stuff like bacteria, viruses, and fungi. Second, it's a really potent anti-inflammatory. And third, it's a strong antioxidant, which helps protect our cells from damage.
So what does all that mean for us? Well, these properties translate into a huge range of benefits. It's been shown to help wounds and burns heal faster, to soothe stomach problems like ulcers, to ease joint pain from things like arthritis, and it even helps fight tooth decay and bad breath. The list just goes on. In fact, its power to fight microbes is so strong that some researchers have actually called it a perfect alternative to chemical antibiotics. Just think about that for a second. That's a natural way to fight infections, potentially without all the side effects that can come with synthetic drugs. That's a big deal. All right, so if this stuff is so fantastic, how do we get it out of the hive? Well, harvesting propolis has come a long way. It's evolved from just a simple craft into a pretty clever science, all designed to get the purest product possible, and, importantly, without hurting the bees. You see, back in the day, beekeepers would just scrape the propolis off the inside of the hive boxes and the frames. The biggest problem with that was you didn't get much, and what you did get was often full of junk, like splinters of wood, extra wax, or even flecks of paint. The modern ways of doing it are way smarter. So now, modern beekeepers use these special traps. They kind of look like screens or meshes, just like you see here. They just place these on top of the hive, and because the bees have this natural instinct to seal up any and all gaps, they get to work filling in the trap, and what you get is pure, clean propolis. The whole process is really simple but super effective. First, you put the trap on the hive. Then, you just let the bees do their thing and seal all the little gaps. Once the trap is full, the beekeeper takes it off and sticks it in the freezer. Freezing it makes the propolis really brittle, so it's easy to just scrape off. What you're left with is a pure, high-quality harvest. And once it's harvested, this stuff gets turned into all kinds of products. It's incredibly versatile. You can find it in capsules or liquid tinctures that you take, or in stuff like ointments, toothpastes, and even shampoos that you use on your body.
And you know, it all comes back to this one incredible little creature. A single honeybee, working together with its colony, takes simple tree goo and transforms it into one of the most complex and powerful natural medicines we know of. It's just amazing. And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? The whole story of propolis is just a great reminder of the incredible knowledge that's hidden all around us in the natural world. I mean, if a tiny insect can create a pharmacy this powerful, what other secrets is nature just waiting to share with us?